There's something deeply haunting about seeing the final photographs of people who once captivated the world with their talent, presence, or power. These images, often taken just days, hours, or even minutes before their deaths, offer a rare and intimate glimpse into the lives of icons at the very edge of their journeys. This curated collection brings together the last known photos of notable figures from all corners of fame and influence. From legendary musicians and celebrated actors to trailblazing historical figures, each image tells its own quiet story. Alan Rickman. In one of his last appearances, Alan Rickman attended a theater event in London, quietly greeting fans. His slim frame and pale appearance drew concern, though few knew he had been diagnosed with terminal cancer. Rickman died on January 14, 2016, from pancreatic cancer at age 69. Amelia Earhart's last known photo shows her standing beside her twin-engine Electroplane in Lae, Papua New Guinea. She was preparing for the final leg of her historic round-the-world flight. On July 2, 1937, she and navigator Fred Noonan vanished over the Pacific Ocean, and their fate remains one of aviation's greatest mysteries. Amy Winehouse was last photographed near her London home on July 12, 2011, looking disoriented and worn. She had recently canceled the tour due to health concerns. On July 23rd, she was found dead from alcohol poisoning at just 27 years old. Audrey Hepburn's final photo was taken at her home in Switzerland, where she had returned after undergoing treatment. She appeared peaceful, holding flowers and smiling gently at the camera. On January 20th, 1993, she died from a rare form of abdominal cancer. Ayrton Senna was photographed in his race car on May 1st, 1994, during the San Marino Grand Prix in Imola. On the 7th lap, his car veered off the track and hit a concrete wall at high speed. He was declared dead hours later due to fatal head trauma. This final image of Bob Marley was captured at a hotel in Munich, where he had undergone alternative cancer treatment. He appeared thin and frail, far from the energetic stage presence fans remembered. Marley died on May 11, 1981, in Miami, after an aggressive form of melanoma spread to his brain and lungs. This late photo of Charlie Chaplin was taken at his home in Switzerland, where he spent his final years in relative privacy. Though visibly weak, he still carried the dignified presence of a film legend. Chaplin died peacefully in his sleep on Christmas Day, 1977, at the age of 88. Chester Bennington appeared smiling in a photo shared by his wife on July 19, 2017, just one day before his death. The image shows him with family, giving no indication of distress. On July 20th, he died by suicide at his home in California. The last photo of Elvis Presley was taken at the Graceland Gates in the early hours of August 16, 1977, as he returned home from a late-night dentist appointment. He was still wearing his stage-style tracksuit, looking bloated but alert. Later that day, he collapsed in his bathroom and was pronounced dead from a heart attack at just 42 years old. One of the last photos of Freddie Mercury was taken in the backyard of his home in Kensington, London, in 1991. He appeared gaunt but smiled for the camera, standing beside his beloved cats and surrounded by flowers. Mercury died on November 24, 1991, from bronchial pneumonia related to AIDS, just a day after publicly confirming his diagnosis. One of the last photos of Eth Ledger shows him on the set of the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, visibly exhausted but focused. Crew members later noted how overworked and sleep-deprived he had become. Ledger died on January 22, 2008, at age 28, from an accidental overdose of prescription medications. James Dean stopped for gas on the afternoon of September 30th, 1955, posing with his Porsche Spyder in what would become an iconic final photo. Hours later, while driving to a race in Salinas, he collided with another vehicle at an intersection. Dean died instantly from a broken neck. James Gandolfini was photographed enjoying dinner with his son in Rome during a family vacation. He had spent the day sightseeing before suddenly collapsing in his hotel room. On June 19, 2013, he died of a heart attack at age 51. The final known photograph of Jim Morrison was taken on June 28, 1971, in Paris, where he had moved to escape the pressures of fame. In the image, he walks alongside his girlfriend Pamela Corson, looking relaxed but distant. Just 5 days later, on July 3rd, he was found dead in his apartment's bathtub from heart failure at age 27. No autopsy was performed. On December 8, 1980, a fan named Mark David Chapman waited outside Lennon's New York apartment and asked for an autograph. Lennon obliged and posed for a photo while signing a copy of Double Fantasy. Just hours later, Chapman fatally shot him outside the Dakota building as he returned home with Yoko Ono. A grainy fan photo captures Kurt Cobain outside his Seattle home, wearing a heavy coat and looking withdrawn. It was taken just days before his disappearance. On April 8, 1994, his body was found in the garage with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Marilyn Monroe's final photograph was taken at Calneva Lodge in Lake Tahoe, just days before her death. She posed alongside jazz pianist Buddy Greco, looking cheerful and composed. On August 5, 1962, she was found dead in her Los Angeles home from a barbiturate overdose, a death ruled as probable suicide. In one of his final portraits, Mark Twain is seen sitting quietly at home, looking reflective in age, his trademark white suit slightly disheveled. He had been in declining health, following the deaths of several close family members. Twain died of a heart attack on April 21, 1910, just as he predicted would happen with the return of Halley's Comet. Michael Jackson was photographed rehearsing on stage at the Staples Center in Los Angeles on June 24, 2009. He was preparing for his long-awaited This Is It tour, showing signs of both excitement and exhaustion. The next day, he died of cardiac arrest caused by acute propofol intoxication. Muhammad Ali was captured on May 22, 2016, during a FaceTime call with his daughter Hannah, looking quiet and visibly frail. A few days later, he was hospitalized for respiratory issues. He died on June 3, 2016, from septic shock, surrounded by his family. One of the last photos of Nicola Tesla shows him seated alone in a chair at the New Yorker Hotel, where he lived in near obscurity. Once celebrated as a visionary, he had become reclusive and impoverished. Tesla died in his room on January 7, 1943, from coronary thrombosis. Paul Walker was photographed stepping into a red Porsche Carrera GT outside a charity event in Valencia. California, on November 30th, 2013. The car, driven by his friend Roger Rodas, crashed into a tree and caught fire minutes later. Both men were killed in the accident. Prince was last seen in surveillance footage entering his physician's office on April 20th, 2016, dressed in black and moving slowly. He was reportedly seeking help for ongoing pain issues. The next day, he was found unresponsive in an elevator at his home, having died from an accidental overdose of fentanyl. This image of Princess Diana was taken inside the back of a black Mercedes-Benz just minutes before the fatal crash. She was leaving the Ritz Hotel in Paris with her companion Dodi Fayed, followed by paparazzi on motorcycles. The car crashed in the Pont de El Alma tunnel on August 31st, 1997, killing Diana, Fayed, and their driver. This photo shows Robert F. Kennedy lying on the floor of the Ambassador Hotel kitchen after being shot on June 5, 1968. He had just given a victory speech following his win in the California Democratic primary. Kennedy died the next day from his injuries, with 24-year-old Sirhan arrested at the scene. Robin Williams was seen in a local art gallery in the San Francisco Bay Area, chatting with staff just days before his death. He looked thin but upbeat. On August 11, 2014, he died by suicide after suffering from a severe form of dementia. In one of his final photos, Steve Jobs was seen walking slowly outside his home in Palo Alto, wearing a black sweater and jeans, his face thin and body frail. He had stepped down as Apple CEO just 2 months earlier. Jobs passed away on October 5, 2011, at age 56, after a years-long battle with rare pancreatic cancer. Biggie was photographed wearing a beige suit at the Soul Train Music Awards after-party on March 8, 1997. Hours later, while sitting in an SUV, he was shot multiple times by an unknown assailant at a red light in Los Angeles. He died shortly after the hospital, and his murder, like Tupac's, remains unsolved. Tupac was photographed in the passenger seat of a BMW in Las Vegas on the night of September 7, 1996, dressed in a black vest and gold jewelry. He was leaving a Mike Tyson boxing match when a white Cadillac pulled up beside them and opened fire. He died 6 days later at the hospital from multiple gunshot wounds, and his murder remains officially unsolved. Whitney Houston was seen leaving a pre-Grammy party at the Beverly Hilton Hotel on February 9, 2012, her hair damp and eyes heavy. On February 11th, she was found submerged in her hotel bathtub. The cause of death was accidental drowning with heart disease, and cocaine use listed as contributing factors.